HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we're looking at a couple of beers from a brand new brewery in North Yorkshire, Malton in particular, and the brewery is called Bad Seed. The first beer that I'm going to be looking at is their IPA, which is 7.3% ABV. It's hopped with Cascade, Columbus, Chinook, classic C-hop combination. Can't go wrong. I guess my connection to Malton is, well, I work in York, so I mean it's not a million miles away from York, but my father-in-law's got a caravan, kind of Vale of Pickering, so when we ever go to stay at the campsite where he's got his caravan, we have to get the train to Malton, and he picks it up at Malton, so I'm kind of familiar with it a little bit. I've been to the food festival and stuff, a couple of the pubs, but I think from all accounts, I don't think they've had a brewery really there for ages, and there has been a bit of a spurt of new breweries popping up in the kind of the York and surrounding areas. These guys, I got this at House of Trembling Madness, which is a bottle shop in York, bottle shop and pub. And I thought, well, why not? Let's try it out. I read about them on the York Press's website. There's a beer blogger called Gavin Aitchison does a blog called Pints of View. Well, a few other people do it, and they mentioned these guys on there, and they talked about the influence of like Magic Rock and Colonel and Dark Star, things like that. So I thought, well, this is right up my street. So I thought I'd give it a go. Beer in the glass. I've got this relatively cool. That's how I like my IPA. Hazy. They are unfiltered, they say, bottle conditioned. So very hazy, kind of like a sandy gold. Head off white. Just a thin film covering the top of the beer. So let's give it a swirl and sniff. Yeah, you get not getting a massive kind of American nose. It's quite resinous. Yeah, grapefruit. It's quite dank. Considering those hops that have been used, it's quite dank. It's got a spicy nose on there. Maybe crack of black pepper. Slightly, it's quite fuming, quite alcoholic, quite kind of alcohol vapours kind of wafting up your nose. There is a backbone of pale malt in there. Maybe lychee, grapefruit, that kind of thing. I was expecting a bit more citrus and sweetness. Let's give it a taste and see what it's all about. So let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, blimey, that is really quite bitter. Yeah, big dank bitterness, resin, maybe some really quite intense grapefruit, quite a perfumey thing at the back of the throat. Lemon, grapefruit, resin, and then a little bit of toffee in there, a little bit of burnt caramel. Not a hell of a lot going on. That perfume thing at the back is it's a bit hard to kind of cope with. I'd say it is verging towards astringent as this. It's okay, it's okay. I think it's lacking balance. I think it's lacking a hop kind of clarity. I don't think anything's got a place. I think they're all kind of battling a bit. Certainly on the kind of like bitter end, certainly on the higher bitterness scale. Yeah, but it is quite astringent and quite perfumey, quite tickles the throat. For me, it kind of oversteps the mark a little bit. It's got a bit too bitter, lacks balance. That'd be my main criticism. I don't think there's any issues with it apart from that potential bit of astringency. They give a lot of details on the website about the ingredients. They looks spot on. I'd be interested to see what yeast they're using. I think they could select a better yeast strain. I think this is something that is adding a strange bit of character. Maybe something a bit cleaner. Maybe, yeah, it's a funny one. Might take a bit of time to kind of figure out the flavour profile for their beers. Because this is early doors. Not bad, but nothing to write home about at all. Yeah, lax. It's rough, shall we say. It's rough, very rough around the edges. So, that's the first of the two. Not bad, but as I said, for me, it reminds me of like early days summer wine. You know, I think summer wine is still very, very bitter and overly bitter for me. But this is, along those lines, unpolished, lax. Lacks a kind of a certain quality. So that's a bottle of Bad Seed Brewery's IPA, hopped with Cascade, Columbus and Chinook. I mean, it all sounds great, but yeah, lacks balance. So check these guys out online. badseedbrewery.com, Twitter badseedbrewing. I think there's something good going to come out of this. I'm hopeful. Because I think they're heading in the right direction. I think they just lack a little bit of balance, a little bit of quality, and a little bit of kind of maturity to the beers. If you look at beers like you get from Darkstone and Magic Rock and Thornbridge, there's a maturity to those kind of beers. This is a bit chuck a lot of hops in, and I don't think it's bringing out enough hop flavour for me. It's bringing out too much bitterness, which is perfumed and going a bit astringent. Anyway, that's the first of the two. I'll see you in a second for the second beer. Cheers. And on to the second beer from the Bad Seed Brewery in Malton, North Yorkshire. It is a bottle of their Espresso Stout, 7% ABV. Let's get the top off of this in a glass. Do like an espresso stout, kind of just about cellar temperature. I'd say this is. Looks quite fizzy. Carbonation did seem quite high when I opened it. Anyway, beer in the glass, pretty much black as night. I mean, quite a shiny black beer. You can see quite a lot of carbonation on the side of the glass. So check out the aroma. That's nice. I mean, it's got a quite heavy roast coffee. It's got a bitter orange kind of note to it, mineral, like sea salt. Not a hell of a lot beyond that, but it's an espresso stout. It's got those kind of dark roasty qualities, slightly charcoal, and then the other things I've just mentioned. So let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, fizzy. Decent coffee flavour actually. It's kind of cola-like in the mouth. It's a bit fizzy and a bit thin. I know not all stouts should be kind of like big, unctuous, kind of velvety beers, but maybe a little bit more body. Look at something like Hitachino Nest's stout, espresso stout. That's really good. It needs a little bit more sweetness, I'd say, as well. This one. Yeah, mineral, sea salt, soy sauce, sweet kind of cola edge, bit of bitter lemon. And then, as you'd expect, as you'd hope, lots of bitter roast coffee. Hint of dark chocolate at the back end. Caramel. Ending very earthy coffee flavour. Decent flavour. I think if it had a bit more body, it'd really improve the drinking experience. I think it needs a little bit more complexity to the malt flavour, I'd say. It's a bit running on one note continuously through it. Not a bad start. I mean, both these beers not bad starts, but I think flawed without a doubt. Decent, but a bit kind of not really hitting the grade. This one, percentage 7%. You could have a lot more to the complexity of this beer. So diversify that malt bill. Maybe stick in something else that's, I don't know how they're kind of achieving the coffee flavour. I've heard that Ryan Whitto over at Siren, during his time in Denmark, really kind of worked on trying to get a coffee flavour into a beer, and ended up using, I think it was like a Nestle kind of instant coffee, which achieved the best kind of coffee flavour that he could. I'd say it needs a lot more kind of oats and and wheat and things like that to just give it a bit more length and a bit more of a velvety character to the mouthfeel, which I think would really improve this beer. It's not a bad beer. It could be 3.8, it could be 5%. It doesn't need to be 7%. It doesn't speak of 7%. I think it's just missing the mark again. I'd say, and I'll be completely honest, they're okay, but I think rough around the edges, incomplete. Quite symptomatic of a very young brewery. Hopefully, there's somewhere they can go with this. It's a good start, but needs a bit of tweaking and a bit of raising of the quality. Yeah, chucking loads of oats and maybe a bit of roasted barley to get that kind of it's more of like acidity to it. Bring out that coffee, which is going to be enhanced by the actual coffee they're putting in there. Maybe the coffee that they're using doesn't have a nice complex flavour either, because it's just a bit monotonous. Is this beer decent, but yeah, not really kind of hitting the mark. Nicely presented. One thing I might even tweet you about this before you even see this video. Get on to Drew Millward. He's a graphic artist based around Bingley. He loves his beer, and he will make your beers stand out. Got a bit of kudos just being associated with a really cool artist. It might look a bit bonkers, it might not be for everyone, but it'll make your beers jump off the shelves. I mean, it looks decent, but we can't all go down the kernel route. Decent beers, and they're two beers from a brand new brewery in Malton, North Yorkshire, called Bad Seed Brewery. I think they're going to end up being pretty damn good. A solid start, but needs work. Anyway, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. Keep your eye out for these, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.